Hare Krishna. I'm Anutama. I am a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and my husband and I live on a simple living, high thinking project in Washington State. This video is for you if you are a devotee who has been chased away from ISKCON because of the policies of banning, the policies of allowing children to be abused, the policies of, hiding the nonsense, and anyway, so, policies of not having, transparency with the money, on and on. If you've been chased away, if you don't want anything to do with the institution ISKCON, this video is for you, because you might be interested to know that our nonprofit, which is the new Nandagram Society for Krishna Consciousness, has served a lawsuit on the GBC members and the BBT trustees. And I want to explain a little bit about what this lawsuit is, and this, what a lawsuit is, and what this lawsuit is in particular, what we hope to accomplish. But the main thing for this video is I need you. I mean, right now I have already served the lawsuit, but I do need you, and I'll explain at the end where I need help. And I'm not going to be asking for money, not on this video. I'm pretty sure in the future we will, but I need actual help. So what is a lawsuit and what is law? It turns out that the law is not the list of regulations and things like that you see, you can't drive over 50 and things like that. Actually, the law can be boiled down to three things: that you live honestly, that you don't harm anybody, and that you give, if you've made a promise or you owe a responsibility to somebody, that you do that. So that's really all the law is. And the only reason that courts exist or lawsuits exist is because sometimes people are dishonest, or sometimes they do hurt other people, or they don't do their responsibility. So this particular lawsuit, the main point that I'm pressing on is the responsibility of the BBT trustees. A trust document is a legal document in which the trustees promise to do what the grantor, in this case Srila Prabhupada, told the trustees how he wanted his copyrights managed, what he wanted to do with the money that came in from the copyrights. And that's not being done. And that's what I prove in the lawsuit. So what a lawsuit does is it describes what the actual facts of the matter are, that there is this trust, that there are these copyrights, and there's also this institution that has responsibility to the members of the institution. So this lawsuit has 5 different counts, and I want to keep this video kind of short, so I don't want to go into what all the counts are, but it does include fraud. It does include conversion, which means theft. They've basically stolen the copyrights. And the first count is breach of fiduciary responsibility. Oh, and another very important count in it is the accounting, because I've asked the BBT and BBTI for what have they been doing with the money that comes in, and they will not tell me. And as a beneficiary, and that's one of the main points that I allege in the lawsuit, is that the beneficiary, Srila Prabhupada says that the beneficiary is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And we all know what that is. It's not a corporation, it's us, it's the devotees that are they've given our lives to spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya and trying to please Srila Prabhupada. That is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And I believe that the lawsuit does a good job of proving that. Although if we have a court case, then they'll be able to present their side if they're saying that I'm not a beneficiary and I have no right of knowing where the money goes from the BBT. So this lawsuit is not in the regular court system. This is what is called a common law system. And interestingly, while I was learning about law, I came across this quote from Srila Prabhupada where he explains that in India there is a common law system. And he actually recommends that that's how devotees resolve disputes. And at the end of the quote, he says, and it will be accepted by the regular courts. So I think that's, that really gave me, there's been a lot of, I could say, omens and synchronicities involved with this effort. So anyway, I feel like it's very exciting. So what is common law? Common law is, everybody's heard of common law marriages, something that just happens. Well, common law, as it turns out, is really the basis that all of the civil law and the statutory law is rests on the foundation of common law, and common law is still accepted. If you try a court case with 12 random people picked as a jury, and you give them evidence and explain the facts of the dispute to 12 random people, and if the evidence is very strictly presented, it's like even higher standards than they require in the court system, then you can take that verdict that those 12 people gave, and you can take it to a regular court system, and you can force the court system to give an order of execution. So for instance, in this lawsuit, if they find that some of the defendants really did do a wrong to the society, they can, or to the plaintiff, which is the Nandagram Society for Krishna Consciousness, the jury can award a settlement out of the assets of one of these BBT trustees or the GBC. And I can go to the court and we can insist that the court give this order of execution, which we then take to the sheriff. Basically, the court will say, yes, they've decided that you can seize $1 million worth of assets from Robert Grant, for example. And so I can go find out where Robert Grant lives, go to that area, take that order of execution to the sheriff, and he can go start taking Robert Grant's cars or his property or whatever's reasonable for the amount that the jury orders. So, but all right, so that now we're getting into the part where I need your help. Common law has a stricter standard of evidence, but it has a little bit laxer standard for it's called serving the lawsuit. You see, in the regular court system, people have to get somebody that's their job and their license to serve warrants or to serve subpoenas or whatever. Whereas in common law, you can basically just post it in a public place and expect that the defendant will see it. However, to get the common law and the regular court system to mesh, I feel it's very important that each one of these defendants, and there's 44 defendants, is actually physically served the lawsuit. That means in each of these 44 instances, somebody has to take a printed out copy of the lawsuit in an envelope with a cover letter and hand it to the person, the defendant, whoever it is, Robert Grant or Rodnoff. I mean, the entire GBC is named in the lawsuit. So I need each one of those to be handed, basically be served with the suit. So if any of you are ever in the physical proximity of any of the people named in the suit and are willing to go and just hand them an envelope that says you have been served, and then you will also have to, I'll give a form that you need to fill in that says that you did do this and that you are willing to testify and be a witness that you did it if you're called on. Hopefully we won't have to call on people, especially if you take a picture of it. I think that would be a good amount of proof. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to do a real long video this time, but if you have questions, now it looks like it's fairly easy to do these live videos. So if you have questions, just send me an email and I will try to do a video every day to keep people up to date of who's been served, who still needs to be served. I also, if you can get me each one of the defendants' legal names and if, their mailing address, because that would be another way to serve them, as a certified, return receipt requested letter sent in the mail. So it's actually better to go in person and hand it to them, but second best would be to put it in the mail. Anyway, thank you very much. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Very good.